Hi, this is Daniel again. I serve as a spokesperson for Nehemiah Reset. Today I want to talk to you about our $37 trillion debt. The United States is currently grappling with a massive national debt that has ballooned to an unprecedented $37 trillion. This staggering figure raises critical questions about how the government plans to address this debt and the potential fallout from its actions. This article delves into the strategies the government might employ to manage this debt, the impact on debt holders, and the role of recent legislation like the Genius Act in this financial landscape. We will also explore the potential for currency debasement and its timing. Who are the current owners of our national debt? The $37 trillion national debt is held by a diverse array of entities, both domestic and foreign. As of the most recent data, the largest holders of U.S. debt include 1. Domestic investors. This category includes U.S. government agencies, such as the Social Security Trust Fund, which holds a significant portion of the debt. Other domestic investors include pension funds, insurance companies, and individual investors. 2. Foreign governments. Countries like Japan and China have traditionally been major holders of U.S. Treasury securities. However, there's been a notable shift in recent years, with China reducing its holdings as part of its de-dollarization strategy, $1. 3. Central banks. Many central banks around the world hold U.S. treasuries as part of their foreign exchange reserves, which helps to stabilize their own currencies. 4. Private investors. This includes a mix of institutional investors and high-net-worth individuals who see U.S. treasuries as a safe haven for their investments. 5. Stablecoin issuers. With the passage of the Genius Act, stablecoin issuers are increasingly required to back their assets with U.S. treasuries, making them a new and significant player in the debt market. What strategies is the government considering addressing the debt? The government has several options to address the $37 trillion debt, each with its own set of implications. 1. Increasing tax revenue. Raising taxes can generate more revenue to pay down the debt. However, this strategy can be politically unpopular and may slow economic growth. 2. Cutting government spending. Reducing expenditures can help balance the budget and pay down the debt. This approach often involves tough decisions on programs and services. 3. Monetizing the debt. The Federal Reserve can buy government bonds, effectively printing money to pay off the debt. This strategy can lead to inflation and currency debasement. 4. Economic growth. Encouraging economic growth can increase tax revenues and reduce the relative size of the debt. This is often seen as a more sustainable long-term solution. 5. Refinancing the debt. The government can issue new bonds to pay off older, higher-interest bonds. This strategy can lower interest payments, but does not reduce the principal amount of the debt. What could be the possible fallout for debt holders? The actions taken to address the national debt will have varying impacts on different debt holders. 1. Domestic investors. If the government raises taxes or cuts spending, it may lead to economic slowdown, which could negatively affect domestic investors' returns. On the other hand, if the economy grows, their investments may benefit. 2. Foreign governments. Foreign holders of U.S. debt may face currency risks if the dollar depreciates due to inflation or other factors. They might also see lower returns if interest rates are reduced. 3. Central banks. Central banks holding U.S. treasuries may face similar currency risks and could see their reserves devalued if the dollar loses its status as the global reserve currency. 4. Private investors. Individual investors may experience volatility in their portfolios, especially if the government resorts to strategies that affect market stability. 5. Stablecoin issuers. With the Genius Act, stablecoin issuers are now major players in the U.S. debt market. They benefit from the interest accrued on their treasury holdings, but also face the risk of currency debasement. What could be the Genius Act and its role in managing the debt? The Genius Act, signed into law by President Donald J. Trump, is a significant piece of legislation that aims to bolster the U.S. dollar status as the global reserve currency by increasing demand for U.S. treasuries. The act requires stablecoin issuers to back their assets with treasuries and U.S. dollars, effectively creating a new source of demand for government debt. This legislation is expected to have several impacts. 1. Increased demand for U.S. treasuries by mandating that stablecoin reserves be held in U.S. dollars or short-term treasuries. The Genius Act is expected to create structural demand for U.S. government debt. This could help the government manage its debt more effectively by ensuring a steady stream of buyers for new treasury issuances. 2. Reinforcing dollar hegemony. The act is designed to counter rivals like China's digital yuan and preserve the dollar's dominance in global forex reserves. This could help maintain the dollar's value and stability, which is crucial for managing the national debt. 3. Potential for lower yields. A surge in short-term treasury demand could lower yields, helping manage federal debt servicing costs. This could make it cheaper for the government to borrow and service its existing debt. 4. Global adoption of stablecoins. The Genius Act may encourage the wider adoption of stablecoins, which could further increase demand for U.S. treasuries as stablecoin issuers expand their holdings to back their coins. When will the currency debasement begin? Currency debasement is a strategy where the government reduces the value of its currency, effectively paying off debt with cheaper money. This can be achieved through inflation, where the money supply is increased, leading to a decrease in the currency's purchasing power. The timing of currency debasement will depend on several factors. 1. Economic conditions. If the economy is strong, the government may be more reluctant to debase the currency, as it could lead to inflation and reduce the real value of savings and investments. 2. Political will. The decision to debase the currency is ultimately political. Lawmakers must weigh the short-term benefits of reducing the real value of the debt against the long-term risks of inflation and economic instability. 3. Global competitiveness. Debasing the currency can make U.S. exports more competitive globally, which could be a motivating factor for the government to take this step. 4. Alternative strategies. If other strategies, such as economic growth or refinancing, prove ineffective in managing the debt, currency debasement may become a more attractive option. Given the current economic climate and the political landscape, it is difficult to predict exactly when the government might choose to debase the currency. However, with the national debt at $37 trillion and showing no signs of slowing, it is a strategy that cannot be ruled out. I suspect we will see this plan being implemented soon. In conclusion, the $37 trillion national debt presents a significant challenge for the U.S. government, with far-reaching implications for debt holders and the broader economy. The government has several strategies at its disposal, each with its own set of risks and benefits. The recent passage of the Genius Act provides a potential pathway to manage the debt by increasing demand for U.S. treasuries, but it also introduces new dynamics to the debt market. As the government navigates this complex financial landscape, the fallout for debt holders will depend on the specific actions taken and the effectiveness of these measures in addressing the debt crisis. Currency debasement remains a potential tool in the government's arsenal, and its timing will likely be influenced by a combination of economic, political, and global factors. Thanks again for watching this video on our $37 trillion debt and how the government may pay it off. The only possible plan is to debase the currency to pay it off with cheaper dollars. Hopefully this video will help you better understand the solutions being considered to pay off this debt. To learn more about this topic and other biblical worldview ideas, visit our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. Have a great day. Are you looking for a limitless supply of insightful reads to expand your mind and transform your life? Look no further than Nehemiah Reset's ebook library, where knowledge meets inspiration at nehemiahreset.org/ebook. Go there today to discover a wealth of valuable resources to help you on your personal and professional journey to build a biblical worldview. Learn more about the Bible and how culture is impacting your worldview. Again, that the ebook library is located at nehemiahreset.org/ebook. Hope to see you soon. My name is Mark. I am one of the spokespersons for Nehemiah Reset. The prior video was sponsored by Nehemiah Reset, a 501c3. Our mission is to assist Christians in developing a biblical worldview as it pertains to relevant cultural and biblical issues. We seek to inform Christ's followers, equip them, and mobilize them into action to vote for their biblical values and to actively engage in our culture. We are also committed to help Christians and non-believers to develop a better biblical view. Nehemiah Reset produces videos and ebooks to assist members of the church in developing a biblical worldview when it comes to cultural issues. We produce videos on key topics like public school indoctrination, the woke agenda, sex education, equity and inclusion, climate change, immigration, religious freedom, and much, much more. To learn more about Nehemiah Reset or to watch our latest videos, go to our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. We produce 2 to 3 videos every week. To get a weekly list of our latest videos, sign up for our weekly newsletter by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and subscribe. You can support our website by liking our videos, subscribing to our channels, or helping us reach more people through tax-exempt donations. Thanks for your help in growing God's kingdom and bringing more people to Christ. Thank you for your support and help. Come back again soon. Have a great day.